Kyle Scott, Crossing Broad, going to tell us a little info on how to bet the game. They also have a betting preview on the Sixers game tonight. They're playing Oklahoma City. We'll have that game for you after the Pleasantville-Camden football game, which is a big Group 2 game at 7 o'clock, and then we'll get you right out to OKC with the Sixers and the Thunder. Now, I have a lot of betting trends that are based on – we're going to throw those at Kyle, and he's going to give us some odds and trends and different takes on this game. But I saw one, any non-quarterback Eagles player to throw a touchdown pass. Do you know what the odds are on this?
I would have to think.
Any non-quarterback Eagles player to throw a touchdown pass.
Plus 2,500.
Plus 41.33.
Oh, I see what they did.
That
That's
is good move. That's good PR strategy.
Yes,
That's
it
good
is.
job. Kyle Scott, crossingbroad.com. We've got to try to make some people some money, some odds, trends, how to bet this Eagle game. There's a lot of prop bets, Kyle, on the Philly special play itself, and how many times they're going to talk about it in the broadcast, how many times they're going to show it. Where have you seen those props listed anywhere?
I have, and I've spent basically the last 48 hours aggregating some of these unique offers that the books are offering up. One you just mentioned comes from DraftKings. Fox Bet has one if the final score is 41-33. You can get that at plus 20,000. So, why not put $10 on that, right?
Yeah. Any non-quarterback, though, non-Eagles quarterback player to throw a touchdown at plus 41.33 is epic. That is just a great job by the DraftKings people there. But have you been able to find how many times have you seen that anywhere else? I saw it on, I guess the overseas stuff, but anything on all the apps that you guys keep track of?
Yeah. I mean, so that one's DraftKings. Fox Bet has the 41-33 final score, and then there's just a series of boosts you can get everywhere. DraftKings is giving away $6 in site credits per touchdown, but the big one, and we actually have an exclusive with them. There's a little bit of a plug, but if you want to bet the Eagles outright, and you're a new DraftKings player, you can get them outright at plus 300 on the money line.
Whoa.
At DraftKings. Now, they're plus 168 normally. And then there's a $10 bonus bet they give you that you can get them at plus 1,000. Again, this is only good for new players. But and this is my last promo, if you go to crossingbroad.com/DK, it activates that offer. We are the only ones that have that plus 300 offer. So if you do that, put it /DK on the back of Crossing Broad. It'll take you to that. It's only for new players.
Okay. Well, we got this one. Total times the broadcast team, which is Nance Romo on CBS, will say Philly special. The over/under is 1.5.
I like the over on that. I think you're going to see it twice. And personally, I can't relive those highlights enough. So the more times we control Pats fans with that on national TV, the better.
Well, the other one is, will the broadcast show the replay of the Philly special? It's plus 110 no, minus 150 yes.
See, I would think they would have to. I'm wondering if there's a rights thing, because CBS has this and NBC had it, but I would imagine the NFL has the rights to all that video. So I would go with yes on that. I think you almost have to mention it, being one of the most famous plays in Super Bowl history.
All right, so we'll get some takes on this game, and by the way, some good Sixers stuff for tonight we'll get from Kyle as well. Check it all out at crossingbroad.com. But in this situation, New England's dangerous. The last 7 games in this situation, I read 7 up straight up, 7-0 against the spread, and they win these games by an average of 16 points per game. So this feels like New England you should lean heavily on that Patriots side.
Well, so we got a bunch of kind of contradictory trends here. So let me go through them. So the Pats thing is a little misleading. So through last season, so this number isn't fully updated, but through last season, Bill Belichick teams, everyone thinks they're so good coming off a loss. They were like .788 winning percentage coming off a loss. But overall under Belichick, they were .768. So, yes, they're good off of a loss, but they're also just really good all the time. They're really not statistically better coming off a loss, even though, there's kind of that revenge factor thing that everyone looks at. But I'm going to give you two sets of trends, one in favor of the Patriots and another in favor of the Eagles. You can kind of make what you will of this. So since the 2004 season, the Patriots are 23-6 straight up and against the spread on the road following a loss. Not good for the Birds. The Pats are 10-2 against the spread and straight up on the road following a big loss by 10 or more points. And they're 7-2 against the spread and straight up on the road following a bye. So there are a lot of things working in the Pats' favor, to your point. Well, if you take a more holistic view, they're not necessarily any better off a loss in general. They're just good overall. The Eagles, though, the Eagles are really good in this spot. They're good at home under Doug Peterson, and they're good against good teams at home. Now, they've obviously been a good team themselves, but they're 10-4 against the spread over teams over 500 at the Link, 9-2 against the spread against teams over 600 winning percentage at the Link, and 6-1 against the spread teams over 700 at the Link under Doug Peterson. So, it really depends how you skim this. There's no real one trend that has me leaning in one direction or another. I have some other reasons for that, but the trends, you can kind of find both working for both teams.
Hey, Kyle, I noticed earlier this week when the initial line came out, the Eagles were getting, I think, 2.5 or 3, but at plus 100 or plus 105. It was not your normal 110 in that situation and what they are now. Any reason for that and why it's changed since?
I think as the injuries have come a little bit more into focus, that's put things back on a more normal minus 110 course. But the most interesting thing regarding the line is it's holding pretty steady at 3.5. And I actually, the Alshon news just dropped officially. But that looks like it was baked into the line because I've been refreshing here before I called or you guys called me. I haven't seen any of the lines move. So Bob made a good point to me earlier, and I know he's on with you guys a lot. You're talking about a team that's, basically barely better than 500 against the best team in the league, and we're missing starting running back, starting wide receiver, don't have a lot of weapons, had to bring in Jay Ajayi off the shelf, and yet the line hasn't moved. And when you consider the universe of sports books, both regulated and offshore, you're looking at like 80% of the bets and the money are on the Patriots, and all that line has moved since early in the week is like half a point in most places. To me, that is a concerning line if you're a Patriots fan, because you would expect this thing to swing a lot more with that amount of money and with the Eagles' injury concerns, and yet it's holding steady. For me, this looks like a fade the public opportunity. If I were just looking at Team A and Team B, I would, that's an Eagles line for sure.
Yeah, do you expect that the odds makers and the books are essentially gambling on what the betting public perceives this matchup to be? And they're saying, all right, let's just go heavy Patriots, meaning pushing the public to the Patriots, and just take a gamble that the Eagles pull this out and they get a boatload of money and keep the lights on.
Yeah, honestly, that's what it feels like. It's one of those like classic fade the public situations. And, this isn't even just the local books, which take a lot of action on the Eagle. The Patriots get a ton of action always everywhere. This is where the money is going everywhere. It's on the Patriots. The line is held pretty steady. The Eagles' injury concern. So, yeah, it feels like the books are pretty confident in where their number is. And, when you see something like 80% and the line not moving, like that to me is a, go against, fade the public here, because the books feel like they're onto something.
What about some player props? Because I was looking at them. We always bring this up with you. Miles Sanders to score a touchdown in the game is a favorite at minus 140 on DraftKings. There was a lot for Jordan Howard, but obviously his questionable status changes things. But is there anything that really sticks out for good value?
Yeah, here's one. So Fox Bet is running a promo for all players. So you can put $25 down and get plus 100 odds if both Carson Wentz and Tom Brady throw just a single touchdown pass each. If you kind of want the numbers on that, Carson Wentz has thrown one, I believe, every game this season.
He's got a 12-game streak going. Him and Russell Wilson have like the longest streak going.
and something like 33 out of the last 34 weeks. It's impressive. And Brady, to his own right, 7 of 9 games this year, he's thrown a touchdown pass. So that one is, it's close to a no-brainer. It's a boost they're running, so you're getting plus 100 on that. I mean, that's the one I would take in terms of a prop. But I mean, other than that, it's really hard to say. Like, I hate doing anything prop-based on the Patriots. This includes daily fantasy, like if I'm putting together a lineup, because Belichick is such a friggin' like mad scientist that I'm always so afraid to roster anybody on the Patriots, and that extends to prop bets as well. It just frightens me.
There's also a odds boost right now on DraftKings for Wentz over 1.5 touchdowns and the Eagles win at plus 380.
Yeah, don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, he's going to have to throw a couple if they win, but it gets you a little bit. I feel like you bring Ajayi in. Miles Sanders been playing better lately. This could be one of those games where you see some runs, and I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to think one of these two teams will try some sort of trick play. I saw another one out there. I don't have the odds in front of me on Tom Brady to catch a pass to sort of have a redemption for the Super Bowl. I think that at like plus 3,000 odds or something.
All right, Kyle Scott, crossingbroad.com. Also, Sixers play tonight, and you guys have some interesting tidbits to bet that game.
Yeah, so Russ put this together. Look, I mean, the Sixers have been downright miserable lately. 16 for 68 from 3 their last 2 games. I will continue to fight the good fight here, in the words of the great Mark Zumoff, that they completely neglected shooting. So I'm going to just that's my thing with the Sixers all year. They've gone back to 90s basketball. But, minus 3.5, Joel Embiid coming back against the Thunder, who are, just a shell of the brand name Thunder. So we kind of like a Sixers cover and the under in-game parlay at plus 275. Can't see the Sixers losing 3 in a row, especially to this team. So that's kind of our take on the Sixers game.
All right. By the way, so I don't know, how old are you, Kyle, if you don't mind me asking?
36.
All right. So you're okay. You're right in all of our wheelhouses here. And so how are you feeling about the regular season NBA? Are you kind of into it every night as much as you used to be? Or are you kind of just get me to the playoffs? Like, we were having this discussion yesterday. My father, unsolicited today, said to me, I really just can't get into these games. I just can't wait. I'm just ready for the playoffs. Like, do you feel that the Sixers season has kind of become more of a just get me to the playoffs?
It has, and I can't. And I can tell you, someone within the organization told me yesterday that, hey, we're just playing for June. We're just playing for June. But yeah, look, I don't know if it's because I'm getting a little older. I also think part of it is, and this goes for all of us, working in sports and sports media. Not that you lose your fandom, but for me personally, the threshold to getting really excited about something, like that bar keeps moving up and up. 10 years ago, I
Amen, brother.
every game, right? And now it's like, hey, playoff games, big games, cool moments. I'm geeking out like every other fan, but it is, it's really tough to kind of get too hyped up about any regular season game. So yeah, I'm just wondering
too if you're noticing that in terms of traffic to the website too, to your Sixers stuff. Like, are people losing that day in and day out Sixers craze?
No, look, I mean, the Sixers traffic is really good, so I don't think it's going away. I think what's happened is the sort of intrigue of the late process and early non-process stuff, starting in January, January 2017, when they started playing well, and they're like, wow, this team, they're looking like a real basketball team. From that point for the next 18 months, they were so intriguing because you could see them turning the page, and that had a ton of interest. That, to me, has waned now. Everyone accepts that they're good, and now it's, we're sort of in that homeostasis where we're, looking at for the faults. We know they're good. Nothing really excites us anymore, and we look for the faults. But that said, there's a wider range. It's not just the process people who care anymore. They are now, kind of the general public team. So I think it all balances out. There's more general widespread interest in them, which kind of offsets whatever passionate fans are kind of, taken for granted.
Kyle Scott, crossingbroad.com for more on the Eagles and Sixers games if you want to get some odds.
You want my
pick? Yeah, man, I was just going to lead you right out with that. If you want more information on those, but before we let you run, how are you leaning for this one?
All right, sorry. So I know we always talk about the win margins. I really do I don't think the Eagles should beat the Patriots, but everything about this line, how it's holding steady, where the money is going, feels like a fade to public opportunity. My play on this, and we talk about these win margins, I think it's going to be close. The Eagles are really good against good teams, at least keeping it close. I like either a Patriots to win by 1-6 at plus 320, followed by an Eagles to win at from 1-6 at plus 370. I'm going to take both of those bets and lock in a profit if it's a close game. Just
made our day, man. Like me and Ryan are dancing here, man. We talk about that like every other day.
Yeah.
It's a safe hedge. It really is.
Love
I think this one's going to be close.
So Eagles win by 7.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it. I'd rather lose money and have them win by a 7.
I'm with you, dude.
Kyle Scott, like all guests, appear via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Thanks, man.
Thanks.